You hatch from an egg as a larva, somewhere in the Mediterranean scrubland. Your body is soft and eyeless, but you can feel vibrations moving through the walls around you. You're inside a solitary bee's nest burrow, and the space is packed with bee eggs and yellow pollen that the mother bee stored here before sealing the entrance. You need food immediately, so you crawl toward the nearest bee egg and bite into it. Thick fluid spills into your mouth, and you drink until the egg collapses into an empty shell. Then you move to the next one, and drain that too. Your body swells with each meal, stretching wider as you consume egg after egg, but then something moves beside you. Another larva hatches from an egg near the back of the burrow and starts crawling toward the remaining food. It's one of your siblings, and it's heading straight for the same pollen mass you're feeding on. You both reach the next bee egg at the same time. The other larva lunges and bites into your side, trying to shove you away, so you twist hard and clamp your mandibles around its body, tearing through the soft tissue until it stops moving. Then you push the body aside and continue feeding. You drain 3 more bee eggs, and with each one, your body grows heavier and slower. The burrow feels smaller now, and the pollen is scattered everywhere from the fight. That's when vibrations shake the tunnel. Something large is moving outside, and the walls tremble with every step. It's the adult bee returning to check on her nest. You need to hide, so you bury yourself deep into the remaining pollen mass and go completely still. The vibrations move closer, then pause near the entrance. After a long moment, they fade away. The bee doesn't find you, but in a few days, you'll need to leave this burrow, and the world outside is much bigger than you are. Skip forward a bit, and you're 3 weeks old now. After draining every bee egg in the burrow, your body has grown too large to move easily, so you stop feeding and start building. You spin silk from glands near your mouth and wrap it around yourself in thin layers until you're sealed inside a cocoon attached to the burrow wall. Inside the cocoon, your larval body begins to break down. Your tissues dissolve and reform over the next 2 weeks, reshaping into something completely different. Then one day, you're ready to come out, so you tear through the silk with your new mandibles and crawl into the open burrow. Your body is unrecognizable now. You have 6 long legs, 2 wings folded tight against your back, and massive compound eyes that cover most of your head. You need to get outside, so you crawl toward the tunnel entrance where a small circle of sky appears ahead. When you reach the opening, you push yourself out onto the edge and sunlight hits your wings for the first time. They're soft and damp, so you spread them flat and wait while they harden in place over the next few minutes. Once they're ready, you need to test them. So you push off from the burrow and drop straight down. Your wings snap open and catch the air just before you hit the ground, letting you glide forward into a patch of dry grass where you land hard on your side. You get back up and try again. This time you beat your wings fast enough to lift off the ground, and you manage to hover in place for 3 seconds before tilting sideways and crashing into a flat stone. But you recover quickly and launch again, and this time you hold steady in the air with your wings beating so fast they blur together. Then you dart forward in a straight line and land on a purple flower without falling. Your wings work now, but flying isn't enough. You need nectar, and the flowers here are already crowded with things that don't want to share. You're 1 month old now, and your body is burning through energy faster than you can replace it. You've been feeding on nectar from small white flowers scattered across the scrubland, but it's not enough to keep you going, so you need to find something better. That's when you spot a large cluster of purple blooms growing near a rocky outcrop. You fly toward them, but a fat bumblebee is already there, moving slowly from flower to flower with its legs covered in yellow pollen. You need to feed, so you move closer anyway and land on a flower just 2 stems away from where the bee is working. Your body is covered in fuzzy orange and black stripes that make you look almost exactly like a bee, so when the bumblebee turns its head toward you, it doesn't react. It just keeps feeding. You extend your long, thin proboscis and push it deep into the flower's center, where the nectar pools at the base. The liquid flows up through the tube and into your mouth, so you drain the entire flower in seconds, then hop to the next one and do it again. You're moving fast now, drinking from 3 more flowers before the bumblebee even finishes one, but then the bee stops feeding and turns fully toward you. It can tell something's wrong, so it launches off its flower and flies straight at you with its body aimed like a weapon. You react instantly and shoot upward into the air. The bumblebee tries to chase you, but you dart left, then right, then loop back in a spiral that leaves it spinning in place trying to track you. After a few seconds, the bee gives up and drops back down to the flowers. You wait in the air above it, hovering in place while it goes back to feeding. Then you dart down to the opposite side of the cluster and continue drinking while the bee stays on its side. You've learned that looking like a bee keeps you safe, but soon you'll need to find something else, something that doesn't involve flowers at all. Skip forward a bit, and you're 6 weeks old now. Something in your body has changed over the last few days, making you search for something completely different than nectar. You need to find solitary bees digging burrows in the ground, so you fly low over patches of bare sand and dirt, watching for any movement below. You spot a beetle pushing itself into loose soil near a dead branch. You drop down to investigate, but when you get closer, you can see it's moving wrong and its body is too round, so you lift back up and keep searching. A few minutes later, a female mason bee lands on open ground about 10 meters ahead of you. She starts scraping at the dirt with her front legs, digging deeper with each stroke while pollen clings to the hairs on her back legs. That's exactly what you've been looking for. You need to wait for the right moment, so you land on a nearby rock and stay completely still while the bee digs. She works for several minutes, pulling dirt out of the hole and piling it to the side. Then she suddenly stops and flies off to collect more pollen from flowers in the distance. The moment she's gone, you launch off the rock and fly straight to the burrow entrance. You hover above the dark opening for a second, then you curve your abdomen down and flick a single white egg into the tunnel. It falls through the air and lands somewhere on the pollen mass the bee stored inside. You don't go in after it because that would be too risky, so you just turn and fly away before the bee comes back. Over the next few hours, you find 2 more burrows with bees working nearby. You wait each time until they leave. Then you drop an egg into each hole and move on without looking back. Your eggs are planted now. You'll never see them hatch, and you'll never know if they survive. But if they do, they'll do exactly what you did. You're 2 months old now, and you've been visiting the same patch of yellow flowers for the last 3 days because the nectar here is richer than anywhere else you've found. But when you arrive today, another bee fly is already feeding there, and it's noticeably larger than you with darker stripes across its back. You need to feed here, so you fly closer and hover near the edge of the flower patch. The other fly stops drinking and lifts off its flower, then hovers in place facing you directly with its body blocking your path forward. You want to test if it will move, so you dart left quickly, then snap right. But the rival mirrors every movement you make, staying between you and the flowers, no matter which direction you go. So you stop playing games and charge straight at it. Your bodies collide hard in the air, and both of you spin away from each other, tumbling sideways before catching yourselves and hovering again. But you recover faster than it does, so you dive at the rival from above before it can reposition. You slam into its back with enough force to knock it downward, and it drops several meters before spreading its wings to stop the fall. The rival tries to climb back up to challenge you again, but you're already diving for a second strike. This time you hit it even harder, and it crashes into a thorny bush below. One of its wings catches on a sharp spine and tears along the edge, making a visible rip in the membrane. The rival pulls itself free from the thorns and flies away with its damaged wing beating unevenly, moving much slower than before. You watch it disappear over a line of rocks in the distance. Then you drop down to the flowers and extend your proboscis into the first bloom you reach. Over the next hour, several smaller bee flies come near the patch, but they all keep their distance when they see you hovering above the flowers. You've won this territory for now. But your body is slowing down, and eventually something faster will show up to take it from you. Skip forward, and you're 10 weeks old now. You're flying between 2 clusters of flowers when a shadow passes overhead. So you glance up and see a robber fly dropping straight toward you with its legs spread wide. Before you can react, it slams into you from above and wraps its legs around your body, locking you in place. You twist hard trying to break free, but the robber fly tightens its grip around your middle section, making it impossible to pull away. Then its proboscis starts moving toward your head, and you know if it reaches you, that's it. So you do the only thing you can think of and fold both wings completely flat against your body, making yourself dead weight. The sudden shift throws off the robber fly's balance, and both of you start tumbling through the air together with neither one able to control the fall. You're spinning and dropping fast, but just before you hit the ground, you snap your wings open and pull away hard to the left. The robber fly tries to grab you again, but you're already darting toward a thick tangle of dead branches and thorny stems nearby. You weave through gaps between the branches that are too narrow for the robber fly to follow, and after a few seconds, you hear it stop chasing and fly away in a different direction. You need to rest after that, so you land on a flat leaf and stay there without moving for several minutes. Then you lift your back leg and see that it's bent at an odd angle near the middle joint. It still moves, but not the way it should. You also notice a small tear along the edge of your right wing, where the membrane pulled apart during the struggle. You test your wings by lifting off the leaf, and you can still fly, but the movement feels uneven now and takes more effort than it did before. You escaped this time, but your wing won't heal, and every flight from now on will be harder than the last. You're 12 weeks old now, and your body is wearing down faster than before. Your damaged wing makes every flight uneven, and your bent leg drags slightly whenever you land on a surface. But you still need to lay more eggs, so you fly low over open ground, looking for fresh bee burrows. After searching for most of the day, you finally spot a new hole in sandy soil with loose dirt piled around the entrance. You need to wait for the right moment. So you land on a flat stone nearby and watch as a leafcutter bee comes out of the burrow and flies off toward a line of shrubs in the distance, the moment she's gone. You push off the stone and fly toward the hole, but your torn wing catches on a thin strand of spider silk stretched between 2 nearby branches, and suddenly you're stuck. The silk pulls tight around the damaged part of your wing, holding you in place while your other wing beats frantically trying to pull free. You twist your body hard and feel the wing membrane start to rip even more where the silk has it caught. So you pull harder, and a large chunk of the wing tears completely away, but you're loose now. You drop through the air and barely manage to steady yourself before hitting the ground. Your wings are beating at different speeds because one is so much smaller now, making you tilt to the side with every stroke. But you push yourself forward anyway and reach the burrow entrance, then hover above it as steadily as you can. You curve your abdomen down and release your final egg into the dark tunnel below. It falls out of sight, and you know it landed somewhere on the pollen mass inside. Then you pull away from the hole and fly to a nearby rock where you land heavily and stay there without moving. You've done what you were built to do, but you can barely fly anymore, and you still have hours left before this day ends. Skip forward a few days and you're 13 weeks old now. Your torn wing makes it almost impossible to hover anymore, so you've been forced to land on flowers and crawl across their petals just to reach the nectar inside. Your bent leg drags behind you with every step, slowing you down even more. You find a small white flower growing close to the ground and land on it heavily, and you drink what little nectar is there. It's not much, but it's all you can manage now. After you finish feeding, you need to rest, so you crawl off the flower onto a large flat stone nearby. You spread your wings out across the surface to catch the heat. Then you stay there without moving while your body tries to recover some energy. But then the stone shifts slightly beneath you. You try to lift off, but before your wings can even start beating, two long front legs snap shut around your body and lock you in place. That's when you realize the stone isn't a stone at all. It's a praying mantis that's been sitting here the entire time with its body perfectly still and its color matching the rock below it. You try to pull free, but the mantis's grip is too strong, and your damaged wings can't generate enough force to break away, so it lifts you up toward its head, and you watch as its mandibles open wide in front of you. Then it bites down through your head in one quick motion. Your legs twitch once from the impact, then stop moving completely. Below the stone where you died, inside a burrow you visited several weeks ago, one of your eggs splits open along its side. A small white larva crawls out and immediately starts moving toward the bee eggs stored nearby. Life as a bee fly might be rough, but there's another animal out there that has it way worse. Trust me, it's wild. Check out the video and see for yourself.